The internet is quietly breaking with whispers from the Chosen set because something heartbreaking is happening right now. New behind-the-scenes footage from Season 6 has just surfaced, and it shows moments no fan was truly ready to see. The scourging, the crown of thorns, the purple robe, and even the first glimpses of the crucifixion being filmed. You can almost feel the silence behind the camera, as if every person on set knows they're standing in the middle of something sacred, something that will stay in their hearts forever. It's not just another scene, it's the moment everything changes. For Jesus, for the disciples, and for us as viewers. Over the past few weeks, the Chosen team has been filming scenes that capture the final hours of Jesus' life. Unlike the earlier seasons that had a balance of miracles, humor, and hope, this season carries a heavy stillness. Every leaked image, every tiny clip, feels like a piece of a sorrowful puzzle. One of the most shocking behind-the-scenes shots shows Jonathan Roumie, who plays Jesus, wearing the purple robe and the crown of thorns. His expression isn't one of pain alone, it's something deeper. You can see exhaustion, surrender, and peace all mixed together. It's hauntingly beautiful and painful at the same time. According to fans who were present as background actors, the crew has been filming intense crucifixion scenes over the last few days. Some extras were seen carrying wooden crosses across a large field, each portraying condemned prisoners. In the middle of that group, a figure dressed in the same robe seen in earlier images is believed to be Jonathan himself, though the team is keeping those specific shots tightly sealed. They're not sharing official videos or photos, but the few glimpses that have escaped the set are enough to break your heart. You can sense the weight of what's coming. Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, once said that this season would be the hardest one to film, both physically and emotionally, and it's already showing. The crew has been filming in cold, harsh conditions, and Dallas himself asked fans to pray for the actors who were part of the crucifixion sequence. Imagine standing on a hill, surrounded by crosses, with fake blood, wind, and silence filling the air, knowing you're recreating one of the most painful moments in human history. Even if it's just acting, it's impossible not to feel it. In one of the leaked images, you can see Jonathan from a distance, his head lowered, his back slightly bent. It looks like he's carrying the weight of the cross, and the entire world with it. The lighting in the picture is cold, gray, and dim, almost as if nature itself mourns what's happening. Fans online have described how emotional they felt after seeing it. Many said they cried just looking at the image, even though it wasn't an official still. The realism of the Chosen sets and Jonathan's performance make it feel almost too real to handle. Season 6 isn't just about the crucifixion, it's about the emotional storm surrounding it. Every disciple, every Pharisee, every Roman soldier will carry a piece of the story's tragedy. We already know Judas's guilt will tear him apart, Peter's denial will crush him, and Mary will witness the unimaginable. These aren't just scenes, they're emotional explosions that will test the audience's hearts. There's no miracle to save the moment, only faith to survive it. And that's exactly what makes The Chosen different from any other biblical adaptation. It doesn't just show events, it makes you feel them. But what's really making fans talk isn't just the crucifixion, it's the small human details. For example, the bloodstains on Jesus' robe. In one photo, you can see faint marks across the fabric, possibly from earlier scenes in which he was scourged. If you look closely, you'll notice the mix of red and brown tones, as if the garment itself tells the story of pain. The team could have easily gone with clean costumes and dramatic music, but instead, they're focusing on realism. The dirt, the sweat, the fatigue, everything looks heartbreakingly real. Behind the scenes, Jonathan Roumie has been open about preparing for this season in a very personal way. He mentioned losing weight and spending more time in silence, almost like he's living the role before stepping onto the set. He said it's not just about acting out pain, but about understanding what sacrifice truly means. That's the difference between playing a part and embodying it, and Jonathan seems to be doing the latter. Some fans have been speculating about how far Dallas will go with the violence in these scenes. Will it be as graphic as the Passion of the Christ, or will it rely more on emotional storytelling? Based on what we've seen so far, it looks like they're going for something powerful yet restrained, something that hits your heart harder than your eyes. Even a single glance at Jesus' face, covered in dust and blood, seems to say everything. And it's not just the visuals, it's the silence. One of the background actors described how quiet the set became during filming. No one laughed between takes, no one checked their phones. Even though it's fiction, everyone knew they were standing in the shadow of something sacred. The way they described it gives you chills, as if, for a few hours, they weren't just making a show, they were living through history itself. Fans online are now calling this the season that will break us all. And honestly, it's hard to disagree. The Chosen has always been emotional, but this time, it's something else. The pain feels heavier, the stakes higher, the love deeper. Every detail, from the Roman soldier's armor to the trembling of Jesus' hands, feels like a piece of something eternal. It's not just acting, it's art. It's faith brought to life. If this is what we're seeing from leaked footage alone, imagine what's waiting for us in the final episodes. I don't know about you, but just thinking about it gives me chills. The Chosen Season 6 isn't just a story. It's an experience we'll carry long after the credits roll. If what we've seen so far already feels heavy, what's coming next might be too much for the heart to handle. The latest behind-the-scenes leaks from The Chosen Season 6 hint that the Crucifixion sequence isn't just a few minutes of screen time. It's a full emotional journey that stretches across several scenes, each one more painful and intimate than the last. And the most haunting part? They're filming it in fragments, piece by piece, over many days, so every tear, every scream, every trembling silence is captured with real weight. The actors aren't just pretending anymore. You can almost feel that they're living this story with every take. Some extras have shared that when the cameras started rolling for the scourging scene, there was absolute silence on set. No small talk, no laughter, just the sound of preparation and the echo of footsteps. The set, built to look like a Roman courtyard, was filled with cold stone walls and dim light. Jonathan Roumie walked in already in costume, and the crew said you could feel the shift in the air. The moment he put on the crown of thorns, everyone froze. It wasn't just about getting the lighting right or the camera angle perfect. It was about honoring the moment. What makes this particular sequence even more powerful is the emotional buildup the series has been creating since Season 1. Every miracle, every sermon, every tearful conversation between Jesus and his followers was leading to this. You can sense it. The storylines of Peter, Judas, and Mary are all converging here, and each one carries its own emotional fire. We know Judas's betrayal is about to explode into regret. Peter's courage will be tested in the darkest hour, and Mary's heart will be shattered in front of the cross. The Chosen doesn't shy away from pain, and it doesn't let you look away either.
A few fan reports describe a sequence where the disciples are hiding nearby, witnessing parts of Jesus' punishment from a distance. While none of this has been officially confirmed, it fits perfectly with how Dallas Jenkins likes to tell the story, showing the human side of divine suffering. Imagine seeing Peter trembling, unable to help his teacher, remembering every word he ever said to him. Imagine John, the youngest, watching with tears streaming down his face. That kind of emotional storytelling doesn't need blood or violence to hurt. It hurts because it's real. Because you can imagine being there, powerless, heartbroken, wishing you could do something, anything. Then there's the question everyone's asking: how far will The Chosen go in depicting the crucifixion itself? Dallas has been very careful not to spoil this. Even the cast has avoided talking about it in interviews. But one thing's for sure: they've been preparing for it for months. Jonathan Roumie said he had to go to a very quiet and personal place before stepping into these final scenes. He called it the most difficult performance of his career, not because of the physical exhaustion, but because of what it represents. For him, it's not just acting. It's a kind of spiritual surrender. You can see it in every leaked image. His eyes, his expression, his posture. It's all so painfully authentic. Some crew members described how emotionally draining these days of shooting have been. Even those behind the camera were moved to tears. There's one story floating around that after finishing one of the scourging takes, Jonathan stayed silent for a long time, sitting alone between the props, just breathing, not breaking character, not talking, just feeling. When someone asked if he was okay, He reportedly nodded and whispered, "I just need a minute." That moment says everything about the kind of atmosphere this production has created. It's not about making entertainment. It's about truth. The production design also plays a big role in shaping that truth. The team has built one of the most realistic recreations of Golgotha ever seen on screen. The landscape looks raw, desolate, and endless. No bright colors, no romantic sunsets, just a pale sky and the cold wind cutting through the silence. The crosses are rough and uneven, the ground covered in dust and stones. Even though these are movie props, they carry the weight of something far beyond fiction. One background actor described how standing there, looking up at the crosses, made them cry. Not because of the acting, but because of the overwhelming sadness that filled the space. It's also fascinating to notice how the tone of Season 6 will completely shift from what we've seen before. Earlier seasons had moments of laughter and light, Jesus joking with the disciples, Matthew's awkward charm, or Simon's fiery energy. But now, all that warmth has turned into a shadow of loss. Fans who followed this journey from the start will feel it the most. You've watched these characters grow, love, fail, and find redemption. And now, they're about to face their biggest heartbreak, watching the man who changed their lives be taken from them. It's the kind of emotional storytelling that doesn't just touch your heart, it crushes it, then slowly rebuilds it by showing the meaning of faith in despair. There's one more detail that's been spreading across social media: the way Jonathan carries himself during the Crucifixion filming. Apparently, he refused to use certain comforts between takes, choosing to remain physically uncomfortable to stay connected to the moment. That level of dedication is rare, and it explains why his performance always feels so genuine. It's like he doesn't just play Jesus, he honors him. And maybe that's why The Chosen connects so deeply with viewers around the world. It doesn't preach. It simply shows love in its most painful, pure form. If these leaks are only a glimpse, imagine what's coming when the full episode drops. The build-up, the silence, the despair, and finally the moment that changes everything. I have a feeling this season won't just make us cry. It will stay with us for a very long time. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about victory, but about sacrifice. And The Chosen Season 6 is shaping up to be exactly that, a masterpiece of heartbreak and hope. The emotional weight of Season 6 doesn't stop with the scourging or the crucifixion. It stretches into every small moment surrounding it. And the more we learn from behind-the-scenes whispers, the clearer it becomes that this season will leave no heart untouched. Every frame, every line of dialogue, and every shadow of pain seems carefully designed to bring us closer to what the disciples must have felt in those final hours. It's not just a retelling of events, it's a mirror reflecting grief, guilt, and love in their rawest forms. One of the most powerful things about The Chosen has always been its focus on human emotion. It doesn't rush through the sacred story, it lets us live inside it. And this time, the emotional focus is shifting toward those who loved Jesus the most. We already know the crucifixion will be at the heart of the season, but what truly breaks the audience is everything that happens around it. Imagine Mary, standing beneath the cross, looking at her son, unable to touch him, unable to stop his suffering. Even though we've read those moments in the Gospels, seeing them brought to life with such intimacy is something else entirely. You can already feel the quiet anguish just by thinking about it. A few leaked descriptions hint at a scene that might show Mary and John together before the crucifixion. If true, it means we'll witness the heartbreaking moment when Jesus entrusts his mother to John's care. It's one of the most emotional exchanges in Scripture. And knowing how The Chosen handles personal dialogue, this scene might be one of the most unforgettable moments in the entire series. Fans online are already preparing themselves for it, saying they'll need tissues just to make it through those minutes. Because when The Chosen slows down and lets silence speak, it hits harder than any words ever could. Then there's Peter. His storyline is expected to carry some of the heaviest guilt this season. We already saw glimpses of his impulsive nature, his loyalty, and his fear. But now, everything he's ever done is about to collide with his biggest failure: denying Jesus. Rumors suggest that Dallas and his team have expanded Peter's arc for this moment, giving us a deeper look at his mental breakdown after the denial. If that's true, it means we'll see Peter's world crumble from the inside. The man who walked on water will fall to his knees in despair, and that fall will make his eventual redemption even more powerful. There's something incredibly human about Peter's pain, something every viewer can connect to, the fear of not being enough when it matters most. Another thing that fans can't stop talking about is Judas. In previous seasons, his transformation from loyal follower to betrayer was subtle and tragic, but in Season 6, that tragedy reaches its climax. The leaked image of Judas with tears in his eyes, standing in the shadows, has already broken the fandom. You can almost sense the regret before it even happens. The Chosen has always portrayed Judas not as a monster, but as a man torn between greed, confusion, and love for his teacher. And that's what makes his betrayal even more painful. Word is, there will be a long, emotional scene between Judas and Caiaphas, a conversation that could show Judas realizing too late the weight of what he's done. It's not just betrayal, it's the collapse of a soul. If you think about it, every disciple carries a piece of heartbreak this season. Thomas and Rama's love story might meet tragedy. Matthew, who always struggled to understand emotions, will finally face them head-on. John will be forced to become stronger than ever, not by choice, but by faith. And even the Roman characters like Gaius will find themselves torn between duty and conscience. This is what makes The Chosen so remarkable. It doesn't paint anyone as pure hero or pure villain. Every character bleeds, every heart aches, every choice costs something, and in the middle of all this sorrow, there's a strange, quiet beauty. Because even though we know how the story ends, The Chosen has a way of making us see it as if it's happening for the first time. The long silences, the trembling hands, the looks exchanged between friends who know they're about to lose everything, those are the moments that linger. They remind us that love isn't always loud or victorious. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's watching someone suffer and still believing that there's hope beyond the pain. There's one more thing that's caught fans' attention: the atmosphere on set. Multiple sources describe how the filming of the crucifixion scenes changed the mood completely. Crew members were seen quietly praying before takes, and some extras were visibly emotional even after the director called cut. One person described the air as holy, saying it felt like the entire crew was walking on sacred ground. It's not often you hear something like that about a film set, but The Chosen isn't like any other show. It carries a weight that can't be faked. You can tell everyone involved knows they're part of something bigger than just a production. Even the smallest details, the dirt on Jesus' feet, the wind carrying dust across the field, the sound of wood against stone, add to that atmosphere of realism. Every choice seems intentional, meant to pull viewers into that time and place. Fans have pointed out how even the colors look different this season. Muted, gray, lifeless, as if joy itself has been drained from the world. The cinematography mirrors the grief of the story, wrapping the audience in the same cold stillness the disciples must have felt. It's painful, but it's also breathtaking. As the days of filming go on, the anticipation only grows stronger. People are already calling this the most emotional season of any faith-based series ever made, and it's not hard to see why. The Chosen has always been about connection, between heaven and earth, between characters and viewers. But now, that connection feels deeper, almost sacred. We're not just watching Jesus suffer, we're being invited to feel the meaning of sacrifice, to understand the cost of love. And that's the thing about heartbreak. It doesn't just destroy, it transforms. By the end of this season, when the stone rolls away and light pierces the darkness, we'll realize that all this pain had a purpose. But before that light comes, we still have to walk through the darkest moments with them. And that journey, as hard as it will be, is what makes The Chosen Season 6 so unforgettable.